The deal with Callum Wilson looks to be agreed on both ends between West Ham and Callum Wilson. It looks set to actually become a West Ham player. Oh, God, we'll get into that. There's also the Paqueta trial situation. We're supposed to be getting a verdict today. I haven't found it. I haven't heard one. So hopefully that's the case. But Flamenco were at the trial, I believe, or where it was taking place. They're there. They're trying to get him back to Brazil. Could we be selling him? Antonio is currently playing in the under-21s and apparently scored 2 goals. So thank you all. Speak out Talk Sports. Go check out on Lawless Live after this. I put up the Talk Sport segment I was on with Colton Cole and Jamie O'Hara. They had me on the sports bar to talk West Ham. And it was an interesting conversation. There's a lot to talk about. Am I now a Talk Sport regular guest? They just get me on when they want to speak to someone from West Ham. So regularly it can be. So I was on last week actually with Flex and Rory. What's his face? Rory. But I didn't get to. I completely forgot about it, so I didn't even record it and upload it. Paqueta update. There's no update on what the actual verdict is, but we're supposed to be getting an update today. Like I said, hopefully Scott's at work, Ryan's out. So we will get on it. Callum Wilson, world-class team in a world-class stadium. What a load of bollocks. You know, world-class medical patients. That's what we've got. Honestly, the medical team of the just on everything they've wished for, all the work that they could ask for. Bloody hell. Take O'Hara's job. I think O'Hara is a proper Spurs fan because that's what they're like. That is a Spurs fan to the T. 1 second. Hello? Yeah. All right. No worries. All right. Give me a minute. Right. No update from Nikki, though. No update from Nikki. Scott's out, like I said. So until then, see, the thing is, Colton Cole, he got some stick, right? I respect Colton. I like him a lot. I understand the situation he's in. He's in such a difficult situation because he works for the club. He helps develop the youngsters and all of that stuff, you know. So it's his livelihood at the end of the day. So he's not going to come out and say, yeah, Sullivan's again a clown and this is wrong and that's wrong. He has to really walk a fine line with what he can say, but he genuinely does care. I know he cares, and I know, you know, he feels the frustrations of the fans, you know, but he's there. He's working for the club. It's the same as, but Jared Bowen, like Bowen would say the same stuff. He would try to, people ask him, put a positive spin on it because that's his job. It's his employer. You know, we'd all do it. We all, if you're in a job and that's your livelihood, you're not going to slag off your employer, you know. So it's tough because we love it. Like when Tony Cottee comes out and says, yeah, like, you know, the owners don't know what they're doing. It's always brilliant, but he don't work for the club, you know. So it's a tough one. Yes, there should be a watch along tomorrow night, midnight. We've got Man United. I'm dreading this. Man United fans feel like they're going to lose or it's going to be a draw, but they've got Cunha and what's his face in Mbuemo in, right? So it just feels like they're a little bit like from last season. They've made better upgrades than us from last season. We don't really hear a lot from Nobes. I think that's since this job he's got where he's really in the sort of sports director of sport or whatever it is, or whatever his job is. I think he's really busy these days. He does the odd podcast here and there, but yeah, that's it. Wilson, no thanks, sick note and arrogant. He just does not come across well for me. Fulkrug says it how is he does, but you won't find Fulkrug slagging off the ownership. You know, he says it's not good enough on the pitch, and that's what the players have to do, and the manager gives his instructions. But I bet you won't see him come out and say, "Oh yeah, David Sullivan, what a prick." You know, sorry for that accent. Yeah, I did hear about Hogan passing away. It's crazy, big part of everyone's childhoods, you know, and Ozzy Osbourne as well. So yeah, bloody Ferguson scored a hat trick. That geezer was absolutely useless at West Ham, and he goes smashes it at Italy. Like Italy should sign everyone's rejects now. Look at Scott McTominay. We need to charge premium prices. Who can we give them? What British? James Ward-Prowse. Surely 20 million bid from an Italian team for James Ward-Prowse. Could you imagine him over there? It'd be like prime David Beckham in Italy. Just go and try and get them that. Someone get that German accent. I didn't put my all into it, to be fair. I didn't put my all into it. So yeah, Lawrence, you're going down. To assume talk about West Ham, talk about relegation, talk about the game tomorrow. Oh, he scored against a Serie D team. Oh, okay. Fair enough. But you watch, he'll go and just smash it there, wouldn't he? Like, will James Ward-Prowse ever score a free kick for us? It seems like he won't. Can you imagine? Danny Ings, let me message Nicky. Scored a free kick before James Ward-Prowse. This guy was the free kick specialist, and he ain't scored a single one. Yeah, because Nicky's saying he's got a power cut. Oh, he's messaging me. He's typing. Nicky's typing, everyone. What's he going to say? The tension. Oh, I've run out of breath. I can't get up. Oh, no, I'm not going to do this. Nicky, look, he takes ages to type, then he stops typing, then fucking... He does that. It's so annoying. He just typing. Nicky's typing, stops, types. Yeah. This is the thing. Look whose agent is Carl Walker-Peters and Wilson is. Then you know why you're signing him. Now, there's been pictures. We saw David Sullivan Jr. in the pictures. It's been reported online that David Sullivan Jr. is mates with Salthouse and has got an influence there on who we're signing. Like, why is David Sullivan Jr. now getting involved? His dad's bad enough because he probably goes to Faces or whatever it is with Will Salthouse. He's saying, "Oh, Daddy, can you sign Will's player, Daddy? Can we sign Will's player, Daddy? Oh, okay. It's Carl Walker-Peters. Daddy, can we sign Will's other player, Daddy? Please. He won't play with me anymore if we don't sign his players." Like, how is this happening? Just because that... Oh, a lot of time, like, there's things I want to, and I just stop myself from saying things. I'd be banned for 10 weeks. Yeah, honestly. Even now, can we do a sweep on when Sullivan will F off? Yeah, sadly, I think you will. This is the problem. Him handing it down to his lads. Like, I always had, and I weren't confident, but I always had this like hope that, okay, well, at least if the kids take it over, like Sullivan's senile and, you know, don't know what the fuck's going on, they'll have the better interests at heart. I think Jack is better than David. I think he's the better one. But it just seems like David's now getting involved more. Like, and Jack's off doing his like podcast or whatever. And this is the issue now. He's like fucking up our transfers. Like, at the end of the day, I don't care what your opinion is of Graham Potter and Carl McCauley. I'm sure we can all agree that they are much better qualified to identify football players for this team than the Sullivans. We can all agree that, surely. We can all agree. Let's just let the manager and he's scouting, head of scouting, analysis, whatever. Pick the players. Let them scout the players. Let them find what they need. It's so frustrating, and so many managers have said it, from Bilic to Big Sam, that Sullivan just turns up with players because his kids, oh, daddy, can we sign this player, daddy? He's good on FIFA. That's what they're like. Just spoiled little shit. Really frustrating me, like getting it. Just... And it was the same ones. Remember when Sullivan came out and said, "Oh, my kids begged me not to sign Snodgrass and Jose Fonte," and they would turn out to be good players for us. And he said that when they were still playing for West Ham. Oh, they begged me not to sign. Absolute joke, mate. Absolute jokers. Again, what qualifies these kids? Like, I have a level of respect for Jack in a way, because, you know, he's gone and learned all. He works in a ticket office. He works here. He works there. He seems to genuinely be interested in learning this business. But David just seems like he loves to go out and on the piss and make his little friends and then just chip in ideas because he fucking drinks with Salthouse. It's not good enough, mate. It's so funny when I said we run worse than a circus. Someone got really angry at me because I said we run worse than a circus. Like, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Circuses are actually well-run businesses. How dare you criticize the circus? Like, all right, mate, it's just a saying. Like, it's like the circus's point is to be a comedy. It's to be funny. That's what we're like. We're a comedy. Just a shit comedy. And the joke's really, really gotten old now. It really has. So, yeah, I mean, where's Nicky? No, he's not replied. So, at the end of the day, Callum Wilson. I think we got some Newcastle fans in the chat. Look, we're all going to do the thing where we say, once he's got on the shirt, we back him. Of course, we back him. Backing a player doesn't mean my brain flips from this guy's going to be shit to this guy's going to be amazing. Like, it don't work like that. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he comes in and he smashes it. I really do. But I'm not just going to suddenly, like, delude myself into thinking that this is a great signing and exactly what we need just because he's put on the shirt now. Like, I will cheer for him. I'm not going to root against him. I don't want him to fail. I want him to fucking be Hammer of the Year if he signs. Of course I do, because it's the best thing for West Ham. But is he? Is he? I don't think so. I'd rather have Marshall, Cummins, or even Antonio. Well, Antonio scored 2 goals in the under-21s. So they're definitely looking at it. Imagine this, right? They're going to look at that and go, okay, Antonio's scoring goals in the under. Let's sign him up as well. We could have Antonio, Fulkrug, and Wilson as our senior strike force. A guy that's fucking hamstrings are made of worn elastic in Wilson. A guy that broke both his legs in January. And another guy who barely stayed fit all season last year with a combined age of over 100 years old. That's our strike force, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we wanted to get the age of the squad down? Well, that's out the window, isn't it? What next? What gems are we going to find next? Let's get Troy Deeney. Let's get Troy Deeney out of retirement. Why not? Why not? Joey Barton might be up for putting the shirt back on. Let's go and get him. Yeah, I think we'd all rather have Antonio than if we're just going to sign one. Like, just sign one of them and let it just be Antonio. Both of them are not going to contribute much on the pitch. So we're just having him for the sake of having him. Just sign Antonio for obviously his connection with the team. He's, you know, how he's in the dressing room, his connection with the fans, the sentimentality. Just give it to Antonio and fuck Wilson off. He's not got clubs falling over themselves trying to sign him, has he? There's all this talk about Saudi. I don't buy it. I think that's agent talk. I don't buy that Saudi are desperate to go and get bloody Wilson. They're trying to sign. Their teams over there trying to sign Isak. Think they're going to be, desperate to get the likes of Callum Wilson? You're having a laugh, mate. You're having an absolute laugh if you think that. It's it makes no sense to me. So yeah, he's been linked with Coventry. Like, he obviously wants to stay in the Premier League. Apparently, he backs himself. He believes he can be a regular starter for West Ham. That is hilarious. Since I don't think he was ever a regular starter for Newcastle, considering he was in the treatment room nearly his entire time at Newcastle, especially in the last few years. Bloody hell. Doesn't matter who's up top, player will get next to 0 service. Now, mate, this is where I kind of disagree. I don't disagree because I look at the youth here, and he's crossing. Whoever's up front, mate, get on the end of them crosses, you'll be laughing. I thought that was Nicky. Yeah, honestly. So I think there'll be, obviously, you can't just run fucking youth whipping in crosses as a form of service, but it's a step in the right direction. We need to get more creative players in. But what do you think about this goalkeeper situation? We seem to be so desperate, and this is what I said on the TalkSport thing. We seem to be really desperate to get a goalkeeper, and I don't disagree that we need a goalkeeper. I really don't. But is it the priority where funds are limited and we need to spend £30 million on a goalkeeper? Like, is it more important to get a goalkeeper in than a midfielder? So I would like to know what you all think, because I don't think it is. Yeah, midfield first. Like, if we're spending that 30 million, that means we're in a situation then where we have to sell more players to try and get the reason why I say 30 million is because that was the price quote or the value roughly for the Leicester goalkeeper. What's it, Henders or something? That was so it's between 20 30 million either way. It's basically the rest of the Kudus money, right? So we spend the rest of the Kudus money on the goalkeeper. Now we're like, shit, we've got to scrimp and scrape and trying to get money for a mid. And we need 2 midfielders. I really think we need 2 midfielders. I want a box-to-box midfielder. You could maybe get an out-and-out DM, a box-to-box midfielder, or a technician on the ball in your 8, and then like the box-to-box. I would love just a destroyer in that midfield. That's what I want. So, yeah, hopefully we can get that. But like I said, if we're spending all the money on a goalkeeper, we're just going to take 8. And I think before the season starts, we need the midfielder in then. I think that's key. Get him in early. We need to sell. Yeah, this is the problem. But you look at this. We have James Ward-Prowse. Sorry, not interested. Alvarez. Yeah, but can we rely on Alvarez? He gets sent off a lot. He gets a few injuries. Like when he goes away with Mexico, he has to take a few weeks off. Irvin, he's a preseason king, but I'm not convinced during the season. Souček scores goals, should be a super sub in my opinion. Guido, get him out of here. Potts, young, we're hopeful that he can be the guy. Orford, I don't think he's ready. Okay, so yeah, you're right. We need to sell, of course, but that option of midfielders does not fill me with confidence. This selection, I'm really not convinced that that's enough. It's where's the pace in that midfield? Maybe Potts, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough for what we need. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Chico, is, we've got too many we need to sell. So get on it. Move some of these players on. Obviously, Paqueta could definitely go. Not impressed by our centre-backs. Tadebo, if he gets his fitness sorted, I think will be class. Kilman, I think in an established back line that don't change, I think we've seen some good things. I think he could be good. And Aguerd looks like he's staying. Aguerd looks like he's staying on. So he's just got the number 5, and Potter seems to like him, and I think he'll suit a Potter system. And in a back 3, I think we'll see a better Aguerd next season. Obviously, Mavropanos needs to be moved on. We're going to probably end up getting a loan or 2 in, but I just want to start the season with a team with an 11 where I can go, yeah, that 11 is capable of winning games in the Premier League. Like, I'm confident in this 11. Get me that, or at least like 9 of the 11. Like, yeah, this team can win games. Like, we can go to Sunderland and go, yeah, this team should be beating Sunderland. Charlie says Souček has 0 on the ball capability. Sure, he knocks a header in here and there, but he just has just had a good season. I think we sell him. I think we might sell him. For God's sake. I'm trying to find something I can use to get something working, so I have at least something working that isn't unwatchable. Yeah, I don't know what he's on about. Yeah, let me just message. Blood, I don't know what the fuck he's on about. Let's be honest. So yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I think with Souček, I think off the bench, I think off the bench, Souček can be a problem. As when we want to go route 1 battering ram type of player, he's that guy. Go more direct, stick him up front. Yeah, this is he's. Why does Nicky always have a power cut? I've never known that guy to just not have a power cut. He's not officially signed, if you mean by like announcement, but it's been reported by obviously a lot of credible people that. Oh no. It's been someone's just sent me a thumbnail to review, so I'm just like. So yeah, sorry guys, I'm just gonna give him some feedback on this thumbnail, just so he gets the best views, because I'm like that. I want all my friends to do really well. Oh yeah, let me get so Nicky is Friday, but he's always got power cuts. Just you got with thumbnails, you got to make them big and bold. Ex-employee also reported that it's done, like agreed. The terms are agreed. Let's go and so Nicky's searching for candles. He's like, all right, look shit, sound shit. I'm like, Nick should get rid of that generator. Spot on, mate. FA are taking the mick. They're dragging it out needlessly. Oh, we are gonna sue them if he gets innocent. We are gonna sue them beautifully. It's gonna be nice. That could fund our whole transfer window for next year, maybe, on the FA, because they are really taking the piss. Free Graham. Graham, I believe he's kind of retired from the YouTube game. We still see him. Love Graham, such a great bloke, but he's kind of retired from this game. What do we think the chances are? Douglas Luiz. What do we think? It's going to be a very tough deal to do. Like, where's the eyebrows guy gone? That is Graham. That's what I was just talking about, saying he's retired from YouTube. So yeah, Douglas Luiz is going to be hard, because he's obviously got a situation with what's their face? Juventus. He's not training. He's not turning up. He wants to leave. But it depends. Forest are interested. There you go. Shout out, Dave.
Hello.
Oh, you're on holiday?
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's good.
Lovely.
I'm on that Barking Riverside development. It's looking good.
It looks like it as well, yeah. It does look like it. Yeah, good to see you, mate. Where are you then? On your holidays?
I'm in Mexico, the land of Edson Alvarez, where they eat fajitas for breakfast.
What is it with bloody West Ham fans are just loving Mexico? Going Mexico. I don't know what it is.
Well, I did it to keep her happy.
Fair enough. Well, I hope you're enjoying yourself, mate. Are you excited by the news that we have seemingly agreed a deal with Callum Wilson?
No. It's a very hard one, isn't it, to get excited about, given that we've just let Danny Ings go, and you think everything you can say that's positive about Ings is all you can say that's positive about Wilson. His days are well past their best. His days are numbered. He's injury prone. He's too old. The only difference between him and Ings is obviously he has the controversy factor, where he's been quite vocal in his disdain for our success in the Conference League. His touch of magic, for that goal at Bournemouth when he scored with his hand and tried to laugh it off. It's a hard one to feel anything for.
Yeah. You know what? I think the best sort of phrase that I think sums up Callum Wilson is that he's just a bit of a knobhead. That's how I see him. He's a bit of a knobhead, and he's just not someone that you endears yourself to him. His injury record is shocking. I did a video and I went through his list in the past 5 years: muscle injuries galore, 2 ACLs, the lot, mate. And this is what we're saying. It looks like Antonio could be getting a new deal as well. He scored 2 goals tonight in the under-21s. I think they're giving him a new deal.
Yeah, I'd rather keep Antonio than Sam Wilson. I think for where they are at their career, at least Antonio's got a bit of history and a bit of heritage with the club, and he's got that love. Whereas he's got that will to do well in a way that Callum Wilson doesn't have.
Yeah, but we're doing both. It seems we're signing both, which is madness to me.
It's pointless. The one thing I think you could say about this transfer window is that we don't need to bolster the squad. What we need is to improve the first 11, and then the current 11 that are kind of on the fringes of maybe being good enough kind of drop down into those squad filler roles. We can't be in a position, I don't think, going into this season where we're signing backup right backs and backup strikers and left backs that might develop into good players, but not having those players that are ready to go, ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, well, there were reports last season, right, going into next, that Potter saw Fulkrug as the backup to come off the bench next season, which means he wanted to upgrade on Fulkrug, and they've given him Callum Wilson and a new deal for Antonio. Now, I'm sure that's not the vision he had in mind when he thought Fulkrug on the bench and Callum Wilson being stars. He seems to have been shafted here big time.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those. There's 3 second choice forwards, and there's no first choice recognised number 9 that you think, how many clubs in the Premier League would have Antonio Wilson at this stage of their careers leading line from? And it's none. Even Brentford, I think, Wolves, teams that are going to be around us, Leeds, Burnley. I don't think even those sort of teams would go for those sort of players. Yeah, we can't be going into a Premier League season with 3 second choice forwards and no one that you think, this is the guy that's going to lead the line. This is the guy that's going to score 10, 15 goals you want from a centre forward.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. And listen, you happy you got Carl Walker in? I know you wanted Carl Walker. Well, it's the wrong Carl Walker. I know you wanted the one without the Peters.
I did. Do you know what? I still think Carl Walker's the best right back in Premier League history, and I think for £5 million, for what you buy with the experience, his record of winning trophies and so on, I think in the short term it would have been worth it. Walker Peters, I don't think signing a right back from a team that's the second worst team in Premier League history is a good idea. I think it's not a position we need to upgrade. How many games is Walker Peters going to play realistically next season? 4, maybe 5, for what it's worth. you could have put a youngster in that position. You could have put, you could have given Soufal another year. I'm not sold on it. I don't see the appeal of Walker Peters.
See,
And again, we've been linked with is it the Leicester goalkeeper Hermanson? I'm saying, these players were relegated for a reason. Like, you can't base
to
your whole
be fair,
transfer
Fabianski was
window.
relegated. Fabianski was relegated when we signed him. To be fair,
Oh, he was, but he was an experienced Premier League goalkeeper that had a good track record. I think at Arsenal, at Sunderland before that move. Hermanson's obviously an unproven quantity. Maybe he is a great goalkeeper. I've watched him twice. In the two games he played against
I
us
just
last
don't
year,
want
and
to be.
Leicester were a poor side.
Yeah, I just don't want to be spending a big chunk of our very limited budget on a goalkeeper at this stage of the window. Like, if we're going to be looking for these deals where we sign, loans or free, but I would have just kept Fabianski for a year. You're right. I would have been happy to keep Soufal for another season, and then see what the situation. I don't think we've got a clear youngster right back that is ready to come in and be the backup, because this is the thing. When Wan-Bissaka and Diouf go to AFCON, right, that's it. Like, whoever's there, we are relying on them. And I think Walker Peters, what I hate about him is that it was Sullivan Jr. and Sullivan Sr. sticking their oar in with their grubby little fingers, right? But on the surface, I think as a free transfer, he's not on a lot of money. He comes across like a really good lad. He seems like the opposite of Callum Wilson, who's just a massive knobhead. Like, Walker Peters seems like a good lad and seems like he'll be a good fit in the dressing room, and he can play either side. So I'm not too down on it. It's just the involvement of Sullivan's.
Yeah, I get that. He's we've bought him, was it Huseless and then Steiden, and now we've got Macaulay, and it's like, why are we paying these guys wages when Sullivan's going to undermine them all and do it his way anyway? Like he's playing a game of Football Manager in real life. At some point he's got to take his hands off the controllers and let people that he pays to do a job do a job.
Well, this is it. We've signed two players, as I said earlier, because his son likes to go faces with Salthouse, get on the piss, maybe do a little bit more, and want to do little favors for his mate and ask daddy to sign his friends' players. That's what it is. And this is how we're run as a football club, as a Premier League, a supposedly £1 billion plus worth club, is run by signing your kids' mates' players. Like, that's how pathetic we are.
Yeah, it's not going to last too much longer, is it? You start looking at where we are, the money we've got, the players we're signing, and you think that Championship trapdoor, you can hear it creaking over the shoulder.
Yeah, this is it. Been telling everyone Nunez would be a good loan signing. All these sorts of deals are only ones you can really get at the end of the window when they've realised no one's going to buy him, and they have to loan someone like a Nunez or a Harvey Elliott and that's like late at the end where they're like, well, no one's paid what we want, but we kind of need this guy off the wage books for the season. We're not going to have any time for him. That's a last week of the window type deal, I think.
I'm undecided on Nunes. I think, obviously he's done one in Portugal and he's looked like a good striker at times at Liverpool, but for the money they want and the wages we'd have to pay, it's just, I think it's too much of a gamble. If he was that good, if he was a player that could score those goals in the Premier League, Liverpool wouldn't pay £80 million for Ekitike, as you pronounce it. They wouldn't be looking at Alexander Isak right now if Nunes was at that level.
Well, to be fair, like we ain't at that level, so
no, we're not. But you still want to find someone that you think might get to that level, because then you've got that promise, the potential, and you've got the sell-on value. Whereas Nunes, if he's been to that level and he's not done it, and there's no kind of, I mean, the best you could hope for then is that a Saudi club takes him. And is a Saudi club going to take him from West Ham? Probably not. But they probably would take him from Liverpool.
But as a loan, like, it's fairly low risk on a loan. Like, I'd rather loan him than sign Wilson on whatever shitty deal that they've decided to give him.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
To me, I was coming into this season not with the mindset of what big names can we try to scum over the line, and what dodgy little deals. Oh, we can get a Diaz, and we can go and get a Nunez, and all of this. I was thinking we're going to do some serious scouting. We're going to use this data and analysis, and we're going to look all over the world, and we're going to find these players that have the profile, the attributes that we need to cut it in the Premier League and to fit a style and system. But instead, it's just Sullivan transfer dealings 101. What's available? What opportunities are there for us to get some cheaps and freebies over the line? It's the opposite of what we needed to be doing.
I agree Sullivan's a problem, but I think there's a bigger problem in that role model, which is Graham Potter. You know, if you look at Potter's record since leaving Brighton, I think I've said this before, he just goes back to Brighton. He's gone back to Brighton, he's gone back and signed a player at Brighton in Walker Peters. During the January transfer window, he went back and signed him in Ferguson. At Chelsea, he just went back and signed in Sanchez and Cucurella and all the others, Caicedo, all the other players that came in eventually from Brighton. I'm not sure Potter and McCauley have got this tactical nous about them to go and do this global scouting. I think it was all very much Tony Bloom. And I think Potter right now is a bit of a rabbit caught in the headlights. And I think he's, you talk about having a preferred vision or a philosophy. 20 games from Potter, and we've seen back threes, back fours, back fives, midfield twos, midfield threes. You have one up top, two up top. I don't think he's got anything. I think if he had something, we'd have seen it. I think he would have come in on day one. We when we had Villa in the cup, we looked like we was going to play this high intensity, pressing game. That soon went by the radar, and it went back to the low block passive football of Lopetegui. And I don't think there's anything since then. Maybe he's working something this summer. Maybe in the summer series, the next we've got the 3 games in America next week. Maybe we're going to start to see some of this new idea and this new philosophy. Because I think we need to see it. I think there needs to be some kind of sense of optimism going into the new season. Because right now it's not there.
All right. Yeah. No. Well. Listen. Let me disagree with you a little bit there on the Potter
Go
stuff.
For it.
So obviously people are pointing out Kyle Walker-Peters weren't his player, but I understand your greater point is he has gone after Ferguson, Caicedo, like you said, Cucurella. Like when he went, like most managers when they go somewhere, they want to take their best players with them, right? Like for him to go to Chelsea, he's not going to go. Do you know what? I'm not going to take Caicedo. I'm not going to take Cucurella, who are like 2 of the best players in football. I'm going to go and scout some new ones. Like, if they're saying, yeah, we'll give you the money, you can bring these guys. Like, I get it. I understand that, right? So, nothing against it. The Ferguson thing, we had no we had no money to spend in January. We did, apparently, on Duran, which I think is a load of bollocks. But on a loan, he was like, yeah, we'll take him on loan. It was just a desperation. Antonio's injured. I was fine just to bring someone there for now and save our money for the summer. Imagine we'd went and spent some money on someone that we could get just as desperation. And with the style of football, yeah, we did that on the first day. But Somerville was a massive Somerville and Fulkrug. You look how we played. Somerville, Fulkrug, Kudus in that front line. The way they were pressing from the front, the way they were tracking back. Like Somerville gets injured, there goes our pace out of the team. Fulkrug gets injured. There goes that deep link-up play. And then he's left with the slowest, oldest squad in football. And what are we expecting? These players have played the same way under Moyes, Lopetegui, Potter. Sideways, backwards, slow in the brain, slow in the body. Don't know what the fuck they're doing. I do not expect Potter to play high-intensity, high-pressing football with these bunch of geriatric just turtles that they have, right? So he's going to go and bring in. Look at Diouf, right? I know you weren't as high on Diouf as me, and you've had question marks, but you look at the overall type of player, right? Let's go to profile. Did you watch that friendly? In terms of the profile of player, yeah. So in terms of like how he is, right? In terms of his pace, his physicality, the directness, the energy. Like that sort of player, even maybe you think he's a bit rough around the edges, that sort of player is going to make us more entertaining to watch. Because guess what? He's trying to get up that fucking pitch as quick as possible. He's not going to stand there like an idiot trying to pass it and look around. Who do I pass? He's just going to get the fucking ball up there. And that's what we need more of for Potter to play better football.
I hope you're right. I mean, in response to the geriatric, I completely get what you're saying, but I would point out that, a handful of weeks before we won the Conference League in Prague, our under-18s won the FA Youth Cup, and there's a number of promising players in there that we could have and should have better utilised during the tail end of last season. Obviously, some of them went out on loan.
Oh, we're losing him. Yeah, that's my point. I ain't testing. We're not doing it with this squad. We've lost Dave. Let me just talk while we wait for Dave to get back so he can finish his point. Nicky, bring me in. Well, why don't you tell me you got no camera on, Nick? I would have brought you in ages ago. I thought you was trying to sort your camera out. You can't even hear him now. Bring me in. All right, you're in, Nick. You're live on.
Hello.
There he is. Yeah. I can hear. Oh, yeah.
Loud and clear.
We lost Dave. We lost Dave. Enter Nicky.
Jesus Christ! This is.
I can hear you. We got Dave back.
I can just about hear you.
Right. Well,
okay,
put your ear closer to the bloody speaker. Sorry, Dave. So, Dave, just to catch you up. Dave, you were just making a point about we were talking about the youth and the type of player he is, and the directness and not passing out. And the youth, that was it. He was on the youth and utilizing them, and that, right?
Yeah, and I think if I think had you used those some of those players, you might have found that we this summer, because we don't need to sign maybe that centre back or the midfielders that we're looking at. One of those bodies may well have been in there. And also, if you put them in and you find they're not quite up to speed, you're going to get them a better loan into a Championship side with a bit of Premier League experience than you are. Starts to a little bit incisive. You're looking at League 1, League 2 football for players that probably at this stage of their development are, even learn for lack of experience, probably too good for League 1, League 2.
Yeah, listen, I agree, Dave, and I'm always gonna. I think a lot of players last season did not deserve to play, did not deserve to step on the pitch with how shit they were, and I would have much rather play some youngsters. However, he obviously did give Skulls a chance, and Skulls played, and then he sort of had a few games where he struggled and he come out the side, and maybe needs a little bit more work, and maybe there are some of these youngsters that. We do it all the time. We've had so many youngsters that we have high hopes from. We see the Elliot Lees and the Freddie Sears and, all these players, Tony Martinez, Zande Silva, we get excited about, and then they don't make it. So we'll have to see. But like I said, I just think you get a manager. I want to see them have their team in, their players, and then judge them. Are you with us, Nick?
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, like where you're at, just bring up speed. So where are you at? It's looking like Callum Wilson is signing. It's looking like Antonio's going to get a new deal.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Fulkrug, Antonio, and
Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
What, as the front three all season?
Well, yeah. Well, not as the front three, but as the three options. Yeah, our three strikers. It looks like that's going to be the case.
As three main strikers without, someone that you can at least turn to, I think that's a big risk, because I think between the three of them, I don't think they've played a full season in the last 3 or 4 seasons, and I don't even know whether you get a full season out of all of them combined. I mean, you look at Wilson, 29 games missed. Antonio, you don't know what shape he's in after that accident. That's a massive risk. And Fulkrug's got, over the last few years, injury, sort of, what's the word? Injury.
Yeah.
What's
Even
the?
Steinfeld admitted he regrets
potential.
that time.
What's that? Sorry, you're lagging
No, I
down
said
really bad.
even Steitzen admitted that he regretted that signing on the basis of his
Yeah,
injuries.
it's just it's three strikers with a history of long term injuries, and you can what can you do? You got to hope that they all stay fit at some point of the season and they're firing, ready to go. If you get all three injured at once, what do you do? I just think it's a massive risk. The age of the three strikers is it's phenomenal. I don't think I've ever known a front three that are older. In combined age, you talk about over 100 as your main strikers. They should all be at the end of their careers. They're all winding down their careers. They're players that, all right, Fulkrug is a little bit different. He's got a little bit left in the tank, but they're all in the hot twilight of their careers. They shouldn't be playing or being relied on as the main front three. To turn to at important parts of the season because they've got no history of staying fit. None of them. Even Antonio, when he was younger, had a history of getting long-term injuries every now and then. I just think it's mad. It's just desperate, and it stinks of a club that have got no money and really, have no idea what they're doing in terms of a long-term plan.
Yeah, well, this is it. But why aren't we? We've got in Potter and his team the data analysis. Why aren't we just letting him scout around Europe and finding some bargains and that across Europe? Why are we just going to these types of players that are just washed up and over the hill, but their names? Like, it just seems like we're doing it the Sullivan way and not the Potter McCauley way. And the
Yeah.
Sullivan way is bullshit, and it's got us in this mess we're in.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's got history of doing this. He just gets in players that he fancies and hopes that they work out. I don't know. I mean, a decent top class striker is like, it's either a risk and you've got to find someone with the right traits, or you've got to spend a lot of money. And it doesn't seem like we've had time to do either. Do they think we can get by? Maybe we can, maybe we can't. It all depends on, I think Sunderland have spent a lot of money. Sunderland could be one that, stay in the league this year. And it just seems like we're just hoping and praying that these three, old boys can get through a whole season and be acceptable as, people that are going to score goals for us, at certain points. I can't see it, Dan. I can't see it. And you add that on top of the the midfield that they haven't addressed yet. I think alarm bells are ringing at the minute. Like, you know what I mean? And as I said, it just seems like a club that are trying to get by until until a miracle happens. Because with PSI, we've got rid. I was listening to what Liverpool have spent today, and they were saying about they got rid of Trent Alexander-Arnold that was on a lot of wages, and they haven't spent as much as the top six. And we've been in the top six or top seven with European competition for the past 3 or 4 years. So where has all that money gone? What have we spent it on? We've also saved a lot of wages. There's got to be a way to get past it. We've sold Kudus, we sold Rice, so we've still got that money coming in. We can't be. I don't think we are close to PSR rules. I just don't think they want to spend the money anymore, Dan. And I think it's, again, they got rid of Stuyden. They thought the project didn't work. I don't think they give it enough time to build. We've changed managers a couple of times because we've had to change direction. And it just seems every avenue that we go down with Sullivan, it always reverts back to, I know best, and let's do it my way, because he wants to do it cheap, and he wants to do it in a way that he looks like the hero, or he gets a little bit more out of a player that, you don't have to spend a lot of money to attract, or, it's not a big risk. And I just think
he does it like Del Boy, didn't he? Oh, I got these couple of strikers for nothing. Like, oh, I got this cheap. I got that.
It'll get you by for the season. We can squeeze a little bit more out of it. But we've seen it in with like Andy Carroll. We've seen him take risks with players like Andy Carroll, who obviously had a bad injury record before he came to us, and he tried to get him on the cheap and hope that he can get like a top quality striker. Carroll was a top quality striker, but he was always injured. He just didn't get enough.
Carroll's different because I think that Sam really wanted him. He had he suited Big Sam to a T.
Yeah,
and I do think a bit the manager was driving that as well. Whereas Wilson, I don't think that Potter's fingerprint. I don't think Potter has any interest. That's why he's saying striker's not a priority because they're giving him old, broken down players.
Yeah,
And
it
this is
worked for the manager at the time, in a time where, you know, it wasn't as complicated as it is today for, you know, that type of manager. But, you know, he's got a history. I mean, they was listing off some of these players I didn't even know played for us. There was names in there I'd never even heard of, when they was listing the strikers. And even the person writing the article, who was a professional, hadn't heard of some of these players or knew that they played for us. The money we must have wasted on trying to find a striker that, you know, used to be good or they hope will come good, on a, you know, on the basis of, you know, doing it on the cheap and hoping that, you know, a gamble comes off, is phenomenal. You know what I mean? We could have bought, but then what do you do, Dan? You know, I don't think we're in a position to attract. You know, we're talking about Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson, they want £100 million for him.
yeah. But
And there's a lot of movement in the markets in the big clubs at the minute, and there's, you know, a lot of money flying about. And it,
Jamie
you know,
Vardy's there. What about Jamie Vardy? He's available. Surely Jamie Vardy would be better than Wilson because he'd be fit.
yeah,
And he still banged goals last season.
he's got a better injury record than Wilson, and I think he's, you know, as a top level striker, he's got, you know, if he ain't got everything in the tank, he's got a little bit more in the tank, and he will cause
He
more
scored
trouble. And
goals and Wilson didn't last season. Like, that's the difference.
Wilson missed 29 games out of 38 games in the league through injury. He's had 15 injuries in 3 years. What you know, and you know, the way we get strikers injured, you know, what makes you think that you're going to get anything out of him? You know what I mean? It's just going to be a waste of money.
Yeah.
A waste of money.
Yeah, 100%. Well, what do you think, Dave?
I just want to touch on something quickly.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so I just want to touch on quickly as well. Nick's made a sort of good point to lead into, but if you can't get a full season out of Wilson, Antonio, and Fulkrug, you've got three different types of strikers there as well. So if you're going to get 15 games out of Antonio and then he gets injured, and you get 10, 15 games out of Wilson and he gets injured, and Fulkrug, you've got to keep adapting how you play every time, because like Fulkrug isn't going to be able to play the same role that Antonio does.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. And my fear is that, and I've said this a few times, Bowen is going to end up top, and it's a complete waste of time because you're taking our best player out of his best position and putting him in a position where he's out of his depth. And that's what's going to happen. And we just suffer as a team, as a whole, when we do that. And that's the problem, is that's where we're going to end up. And it's not good enough to be in this situation and having to do that. And we're in this situation where it's, but we ain't got money and we got to do this. Whose fault is it? It's David Sullivan's. Who suggested Lopetegui? I went back through the archives recently and found stories before we signed Lopetegui where it said Will Salthouse has suggested that West Ham signed Lopetegui. So it's the man that got us into this mess is still being allowed to influence our transfers in the rebuild that's supposed to fix the mess that he got us in the first place. We never, ever learn. Like, instead, the guy that didn't want Lopetegui, the guy that was saying we shouldn't have signed him, was the one that got sacked. And the guy that said we should sign him is the guy we're still going back to. How does that make sense? This is why we're in the shit, because our owner's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot.
I think that when you look at Will Salthouse, I think that Sullivan likes the Salthouse deals because there's obviously he's getting something out of it, whether it's, you know, cheap deals or you know, an easy way to discuss and negotiate with, you know, with clubs, with him, you know, doing most of the work. He knows him, and you know, obviously we think that he's bought in a load of shit, but Sullivan probably don't see it like that because he's spent, you know, he's probably saved him a bit of money, or every now and then you get one that's a decent suggestion.
But Lopetegui, Nick, there's no way you can think.
I know, because he thought it's a big name, and it's you know, Will Salthouse is going to sort it out. That's what I think it is. I don't think the man really wants to run the football club anymore. I just think he's waiting for the time where he can sort of like up and leave, you know, without looking back and thinking that he's lost out on a better deal. He's just trying to get by, Dan. He's just trying to get by, and unfortunately, until we get rid of him, or until we we get to the point where he's going to sell, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to do anything, and we're going to be run like this. We're going to get to a point, and then everything's going to break down. They're going to make a decision where they think they know better, and they're going to ruin everything, and then we'll go back down the leagues, and we'll have to start again every time, because he will never ever get to a point where he knows the way to progress and the way to sustain what you've built. You know what I mean? Like them David Moyes years, it was done in spite of him. It wasn't done because he's done anything like out this or changed his ways or anything. You know what I mean? We just got fortunate that we had a decent team and a couple of our signings fitted together and come good. Yeah, he didn't know what the formula was. He didn't look at what made that successful. We just got lucky and hoped it happened again. That's all it is.
But the thing is, Nick, he's waiting for the right moment to sell the club. He's not getting any younger, and I'm not being horrible when I say this, but with his health, how it's been, he's only got so many years left to enjoy that, right? So by him waiting, like how much money realistically does he possibly want to leave his kids? These kids will never have to work in their life. Like he can sell the club for massive money. Jack seems to be happy to work. His son just seems like the other son, David, just seems like a bit of a fucking idiot. He just wants to get on the piss and just get some players in every now and then. So listen, he'll be happy to just take the money and sit on his ass. He don't need to squeeze fucking 1 billion out of the club sale. Just fuck off now.
I don't necessarily think that I don't think that money is the issue with him. I think it's the fact that he likes to squeeze the deals for as much as he can. I think that's what makes him tick. Seeing how much money he can make and seeing how, I think it's an ego thing. He just likes to brag about how much money he's got enough. Dan, if he walked away from West Ham tomorrow and give away his shares for free, the next 10 generations of his family would be able to live without ever doing a day's work, like really comfortably in in a rich man's world. Right? He's got a billion, 2 billion. He just doesn't want to put anything in, and I just think he likes the fact that he can go in every day and he can contribute to running a football club at the top level in the way that he feels is. I don't know.
In doing so, Nick, he's killing us. He's choking the life out of his football club for his own ego. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that is the thing. And I think it will only get worse until he sells, because I think Gold was at least, speaking up to get him to contribute a little bit more. And I think now Gold's gone, I don't think there's anyone in there that he's going to listen to do anything different. I think that I don't think he's trying to ruin the football club by any means, but I do think he's trying to do it on his budget, and he doesn't want to invest any more money, and he's trying to get to a point where we're not he's had the cup now, so he's delivered a cup, he's seen the cup. I just think he wants to get through the season without getting relegated and collect the money. That's what I think he's doing.
Yeah,
as cheaply as he can.
Yeah, you're right, but like I said, he's absolutely killing us. What do you guys think? Let's touch a little bit more on the Paqueta stuff. So his verdict was supposed to come out today. As it stands, it hasn't been released publicly. There was a thought that the club might wait to announce what it is. I thought it would have been leaked or public knowledge now, but it's not. Flamenco are sniffing around. Apparently, they've been at the courthouse or wherever it is. I see something earlier where they posted something. So they're obviously really interested. There's a possibility that we sell him because he's a sellable asset. If we sell him to Flamenco, I don't think we get any worthwhile bit of money for him to sell him. He took the penalty. He seems happy now. Would you guys sell him to Flamenco if he's innocent? And what would that mean for the club if he's innocent? And do you think he'll get that or guilty? Give us thoughts on the Paqueta situation. Dave, as obviously we just had Nick, what do you think, mate?
I would keep him. I think for if Flamengo come in, realistically, we're talking 15, 20 million pounds. I'd be surprised if a Brazilian club is going to pay much more than that for a player. And for me, I think his potential value next year to us, if we can get, obviously we've seen what he's like when he's on form, when his head's right, the player he can be, the flicks and the tricks, and like that's what you want to see when you go football. Like he makes watching West Ham enjoyable when he's on form. Yeah, obviously the player we've had for the past couple of years, ever since I think this has had an effect on him. But if he frees up that weight off his shoulder for 20 million pound, I don't think you can replace him, and I'll keep him.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know. See, he's a sellable asset, but I don't trust them to rebuild. And I think, in terms of quality, I think on his day he's top class. And I don't know. If he's got something to prove, if he's got if he's got a sort of bee in his bonnet and he wants to show what he's all about, rather than leaving West Ham the way he left us last season, which was having a substandard season, I'd keep him because I think he's one of the only top quality players we've got in Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. I think are the three standouts now, and he can be a real game changer on his day. But he's got to start wanting to play for us. If he's got something on his mind or he's worried about something, it's obviously like he's no use to you, And I'd rather sell him and get a couple of players in that at least want to play or want to contribute or want to find a way into the first team. But if he comes back and he's got something to prove and he wants to sort of like put all this behind him and have at least a quality season so he can get his career back on track, he could be absolutely outstanding for us.
Yeah, like the thing is, if we're gonna get anything less than 35 mil for him, there's no point to me in selling him. Like for a player that we was going to get 85 mil for, then it's just a waste of time. And I would be interested to see in a team with maybe quicker and better players around him, Wilson aside, but the likes of the youth, and if we get some other ones, maybe a Harvey Elliott, whatever we can scum over the line, we could see a better Paqueta. And I do think like fit Fulkrug and Paqueta, I think they can link up nicely. But I'm not against selling him, but the price has to be right. Otherwise, it's just pointless because we haven't got anyone else that we could get anything decent for. Maybe Souček, who again I will keep as a bench player. But like the other players, we're not going to get a lot for Emerson. We're not going to get a lot for Mavropanos. We're not going to get anything for Rodriguez. So we're in a really sticky situation. And these Brazilian clubs, they ain't got money like that to pay what we would be asking. No chance. And I don't see anyone else sniffing around. Maybe everyone's waiting for that verdict. And if he does get innocent, you'll see some of the top clubs come out and be after him. Because as you think about it, it's Italy, Spain, Germany, like France, there'd be surely clubs. If forget the Prem even, like these clubs would be into him. I think once that innocent verdict comes out, which if it does, we will do that. We will see other teams of a better caliber come in for him, and maybe we'll get a little bit of a bidding war because people can see the talent. He will smash it in one of them leagues, and if that happens, I think we have to sue. I think we will sue the FA. It's got to be done, and if it's guilty, we'll appeal. So I'm dying to. It just needs to be. How many years has it been now? It's been like over 2 years or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it was two years ago. He was due to go to Man City with it. It was in August. He was allegedly went on strike. Didn't he ask not to play against Man City in the August? And then this story got leaked, and then in September it was going to be investigated. And yeah, I think this is going on, coming up to 2 years next month.
Mate, if only a week. It was like a week earlier, and we'd sold him. I wish we'd just sold him before it happened. We got that 85 mil. I haven't heard this. Somerville might be going. I haven't heard that. I don't think he'll go anywhere. I think Somerville's here to stay. Give Wilson a chance, for fuck's sake. So when people say this, right, give him a chance. Give Wilson a chance. Like, I think he's crap. Well, he's not crap, but I think he's an injury-prone player and he'll always be injured, right? So me giving him a chance, does that mean I have to change my opinion? Like, what does that mean to give him a chance? I'm not gonna root against him when he plays. I'm not gonna boo him. I'm not gonna. I'm just giving my opinion. I think it's a bad sign to be injured. I don't know about you, but if you guys give him a chance,
I mean, give him a chance to do what? Because are you saying there that we should sign him on the basis that he might suddenly turn into the striker he was 10 years ago? Because that's not going to happen. So when you say give him a chance, I'm not going to boo him, but equally, all the while we've been linked with him, I'm going to say this isn't a good idea. We can reinvest those wages better elsewhere.
yeah, it's not on us to give him a chance, right? It's the club are giving him a chance, so it's his situation. It's his responsibility to prove the doubters wrong. So I have no control over whether he plays or doesn't play in terms of giving him a chance. The club and then the manager will be the ones giving him a chance on match day, and he's got to take that chance and prove himself and bang in goals, and then he'll shut us up, and we can sit there and say, "Wow, were we wrong?" And I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna admit anything until I get to the end of the season or close and say, "Wow, we managed it." Maybe he picked up a little one injury and was injured for a few weeks, but he meant most of the season without injury, scored a few goals, fair play. But I ain't saying shit until that happens. I ain't sitting here going like he scores 1 goal a game week 1 and Sunderland. I'm gonna go, "Oh wow, I'll humble pie." We'll see. Ball's in his court. But I don't agree with it, and I think this is the wrong. I think we're going backwards, and this isn't the way, Project Youth. So, like, it's hard. It's hard to be. I want to find positives and us end on a positive note and be all happy. And someone says Gabby Jesus is for sale, risky, but he'd have to take a massive wage cut to join because they've got him on mad weight. And they'd have to alone. I don't know about you. His injury record isn't great as well. It's not that much better, actually.
No, that's a huge risk, isn't it, Jesus? And again, did he ever fulfil his potential? Was he ever, anything great? He seemed to have a bit of a purple patch when he first joined that lot, but other than that,
he's a good like all-round player. But this is the guy that was their main striker who said, "My main sort of attribute isn't scoring goals. Like that's not my strength. Isn't scoring." And I'm just thinking, what the hell? Well, that's your job, mate. So as an all-round player, maybe Nick. I know you never really rated Jesus when he signed for Arsenal.
Yeah,
I don't know if you rate him for West Ham.
He's a good. I think he's a good player, but in terms of a goal scorer, I don't think he's a. I don't think he's someone that's going to start pulling up trees. And I don't think he's someone that can go to a lower club and sort of like. I think he'll stand out in terms of like he had a bit of quality, but he's not going to be someone that pulls you through, the dark times. He's going to be someone that, can do a job competently without when he's got some decent players around him. I don't think he's going to be someone that raises the quality of the team without anyone else contributing, if that makes sense.
This is it.
I don't think he fits in a West Ham side because I think he's going to be asked to do things that he don't want to do or he can't do or he doesn't feel motivated to do, which will affect his performances. And he's just not a goal scorer. He's not someone that you can put up top and he'll make 20 goals a season for whoever he plays for. He's someone that I think fits into a good side. I don't think he's someone that you rely on to make the side better, and I don't think he fits. I really don't.
And this is the thing with Jesus, right? And it's what I said on the TalkSport. I don't want to sign any more big names that are overpaid and think they're better than the club and bigger than the club. We had like Kudus and all these big time Charlies that only want to turn up for the big games, don't give a shit, not interested when you're turning up to Sunderland and Burnley and all of this stuff. Because they just think they're above your club. I want people that come in, want to play for West Ham, want to get their head down and get stuck in, and players like that. And I don't think the likes of Jesus and Nunez and all these other little opportunities we can take and get excited. Oh, we got a player of that caliber at the club. We need to move away from that because I think it was toxic last season. I think it was poisonous. And I think there's a standard of player
that I think could work. I think Núñez could work because he's gone to Liverpool. He's played for a top club. You know, he's got the quality, and you can see he's got the quality. He just, you know, I think he's just in the spotlight too much. And I think like if he goes to someone like West Ham, he'll want to get back to the top by having a couple of years of like really, really good seasons to get back to the top. He's got the qualities to be a top player. Jesus is never going to get back to the levels of Man City or Real Madrid or, you know, them levels he was when he was bought by them when he was younger. He's on a trajectory to go down. So the next club is going to be worse than the next club and the next club and the next club until he retires. So he's not going to come here like with anything to prove. He's not going to come here trying to get back to the top. He's going to come here to contribute something and look okay in a side that are not expecting to do anything. Yeah. That's what he's going to do. He's just going to come and coast.
Yeah, he feels like he's a Champions League level player, so he's not going to come here and like I said, feel like, do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get stuck in and get this club up the table. He's going to feel like, oh fuck, well, why am I here? Like I just, you know, I wait till another club comes in. And this is the problem with these sort of players. I'm just really tired of it. And the thing is with us, I know you can't go everything off clips, so the videos I've seen, like now Kudus is gone, it seems like a dark cloud has lifted off the team. Like everyone seems quite happy, the vibes seem quite good, and there's harmony there in the dressing room. And I just think the type of person that we get in is really key, as well as the player. It's the personality, it's who they are. And that's what I say here. Kyle Walker-Peters seems like a great lad, seems like he'll fit right in. Callum Wilson seems like a massive knobhead. I don't know if he's going to be like, it'll just be banter and it'll be fun in the dressing room, or he'll just rub people up the wrong way. I don't know. But what we don't need are moody little prima donnas coming into this dressing room and just upsetting the balance and the harmony of the team. That's what I don't want. Just because they have a reputation, they were good 2 years ago. You know, so I think that's key. The balance and harmony of the dressing room. So it's hard right now because, you know, go on. What was you going to say, mate?
No, I think when you get to, you know, when you look at West Ham, I think the most successful we've ever been under Moyes was because the morale was up and there was people in the dressing room that, you know, wanted to sort of socialise. I mean, you look at, you know, from all reports, like people like Kudus, they was bringing the morale down. You know, very selfish players. You know, very self-centered, self-entitled. Didn't really want to do anything that they didn't want to do, or socialise with the other players, or get involved. I mean, even at Tottenham, you look at him at Tottenham, he looks like he's isolated himself already, like buried in his phone and all that. And people like that just bring the morale of the club down. It brings the dressing room mood down because it's unpleasant to be around. So, yeah, I don't know. That's something that you've got to do as a club is get people in that are going to contribute to the dressing room. And I don't think someone like Gabriel Jesus will do that. I think he'll just be one of them players that thinks he's a bit above, you know, the players that he's playing with, and, you know, he's a bit special, and, you know, he shouldn't be there, and he should, you know, he's been at Arsenal, and he's one of them ones that, you know, don't really relate to the squad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you need people that are going to bring the mood up and, you know, bring a bit of positivity in.
Yeah, that's it. The character is everything.
You know? Yeah,
I think as well.
You know, Rice and Noble done that brilliantly. It was a great balance because Rice was someone that, you know, is obviously like he's like a comedian. He you know, he's very vibrant. He's very
he can fit in anywhere with
anyone. Yeah. He's a very sociable person. He likes a bit of banter. And Noble was one of them ones that was very welcoming and brought people in and made sure they were settled and made sure that, like, behind the scenes they were settling down and everything was sorted out. So I think that's a great balance to bring the dressing room up. But you just got to find them characters. In football, it's really hard to find them because it's a very, very, very egotistical game full of people that only want to worry about themselves.
Go on, Dave.
Just touch on that. Just touch on the point you've just made. I think it was a bit of a mistake letting Cresswell go for that reason because, you know, Cresswell did have that authority among players that, you know, he was a senior man. He was he'd been there for so long. Even if he wasn't going to contribute much on the pitch, I don't think you can underestimate how much he contributes behind the scenes. And secondly, just to raise a point as well, when you look back at, you know, where we were under Moyes to where we are now, yeah, we were signing players under Moyes on the way up. You know, Bowen came from Hull, Ben Rama came from Brentwood. how many players took stepwards backs to join us? Soufal came from Prague. That was a step up in the Premier League. Suchek. All these players were coming in with like something to prove, going to the next level, had that hunger. And I just go back. Wilson's not going to bring that. Callum Wilson's not going to bring that to West Ham. Gabriel Jesus isn't going to bring that to West Ham. Nunes might. Nunes could be the Jesse Lingard type. Comes back, but takes a step backwards, but has something to prove. Depending on how badly his confidence is shot from his time at Liverpool. But I think it's important that we start. Maybe we need to obviously we signed Juve, and I think Juve's got based on the 45 minutes I saw of him. It's that will change, I'm sure, when with 4, 5, 6 games into the season and we've had a chance to watch him and he's bedded in. I think there's some raw potential there with Juve that he is going to step up. He's going to be that player. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be better than Emerson next season, but I think maybe the season after that he will be. But I think that's what we need to do. We need to go and find someone that is going to come in, that's going to be hungry, that's got something to prove, and someone that we can get behind. Like you said, Jesus isn't that player. Callum Wilson isn't that player.
With Wilson, I was a bit confused with how close he is to sign, because if you remember his podcast last year, I know and this will be brought up if he ever has like a bad spell or he isn't doing it on the pitch in regular fashion. He said, I think last year when he's bantering with Antonio, he called us. He said our cup was a Mickey Mouse cup or something like that, and he downplayed it. And he's already like, I know it's only banter, but them sort of things will be pulled up if he doesn't do what he's meant to be doing on the pitch, and he's seen as a waste of space. Them things will be seen as as something that the crowd can sort of get into him and sort of pull him up on. It's just, I think that signing is probably the worst signing we've ever considered, since Joey Barton and Jermaine Defoe coming back, because it's one of them ones that you can't win.
Yeah, Defoe. Yeah, like decide. Yeah, with the whole how he left the side, like I think Defoe would have been a good signing. But yeah, it was just so toxic at the time. But yeah, with Wilson, a few people said, "Oh, it's just banter. It's just banter." And yeah, okay, it is banter. But the thing is, as a football player, like PR is a big part of your job. You're not ingratiating yourself to any fans. Like, do you know what I mean? If I went and started saying like, oh, fucking Bournemouth are shit. What a shit club. Haha, they're tiny. Look how small their stadium is. Then I want to get a job as like the head of their media department and I'm doing all their interviews and stuff. They're going to go, oh, it's that guy that shits on us all the time. Like, it's not, you're not ingratiating yourself to the fan base. And for him to say, and that's why I said the podcast was never a good idea. You can have all the banter you want. I'm not offended by it. I'm not offended that Callum Wilson thinks our trophy's Mickey Mouse or says it doesn't think it. But it's the idea of, oh, now you want to play for a club that won the Mickey Mouse trophy. Like, it's just stupid. It was a stupid thing of him because the fan base as a whole aren't all going to take it.
That's exactly it. And as I say, if it isn't going his way, it will always be brought up. You look at Maddison. Maddison started at Tottenham. He was on fire. And then he started having a dip in form and, wasn't going his way. And all of a sudden, people started digging up things that he'd said about Tottenham in the past. And it's it's just ammo to give people to make your time uncomfortable, make it awkward for you. You know what I mean? And like, it puts pressure on you. And when you're Callum Wilson's age, I don't think you can. I don't think you need it. And we don't need it.
Touch of magic as well, Nick. Don't forget the touch of magic where he handballed it and said,
yeah.
Like, there's been an issue between Wilson and West Ham fans for years. And my problem is that prick has scored so many goals against us. Watch him score no goals for us. And he'll just go down as one of them fucking players that I always hate. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I just think it's a bad fit. And it's something that I don't think that some fans will be able to forgive, And as soon as he has a problem, them things will be brought up. And, it's just, I just don't think it works. And it's just not a good idea to be spending money or wasting a squad place, getting someone in that, that some fans will never take to, and can only really be a negative influence on the club. You know what I mean? Like, there's no positives to it. He's not going to go and score 35 goals. He's not going to all of a sudden at 33 years old play 38 games in a season. And all it does is contribute to more bullshit being bought up by fans, and more reasons to
Oh,
to go on.
oh no! I thought there might have been an update on the Paqueta. I'm just seeing the Paqueta situation. There's been some updates. So it was supposed to be today. The FA haven't told anyone. So West Ham are apparently furious that no announcement has been made today by the FA, as the whole embarrassing saga seems to be dragging on for another week. Another week for the Paqueta situation.
This is atrocious. This is atrocious. Right?
This
It's
is
an absolute joke.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, the sort of onus is now that the fans and some people in the media think that there's going to be no charges, or there's going to be a small charge. So what do we do as a club if there's no charges, or the main accusations are proved to be nonsense or unprovable?
We have to sue. We have to sue them. Like the shit that they've caused us, the shit they've caused Paqueta, the money that they've caused us, the effect that they've given him on the pitch. One of our assets, distracted. He's not been the same. It's cost us points on the board. It's cost us millions of pounds, not to mention the sale that we would have got for him for 85 million, plus the fact that we had to continue to pay his wages because we didn't get that sale. Like, it's just been such a pain in the ass, all the legal fees, everything. So the fact that they're continuing to drag it out, that makes me think, like, if you had, and it was like all this evidence and it was an open and shut case, and it would have been done by now. There's no way, like, if it was clear cut, they had it banged twice, it would have been done.
This was 2 years ago. This come up, wasn't it? 2 years ago.
2 years.
And it's taken 2 years to get to this point, and they're still delaying.
They had his phone. They had his phone for months and months and months, right? Geezer goes out and gets a new phone because he needs a phone, and they've got his phone. And they eventually give his phone back, and he's like, all right, well, I've got a new phone now. I don't need this one. We need that phone back that we had. We need to look at it some more. I ain't got it anymore. Oh, the dodgy. It's like, no, you just didn't fucking find anything, and you're scraping and scratching. How incompetent can you be? You had the phone for months and didn't find everything you needed to find. You have to look at it again. Drives me mad.
I think the issue is that they think they've got something, and they obviously, like, there's something gone on, and they got to a point where they couldn't gather enough evidence to totally prove it, or they thought they knew the way that they could get, and they charged him without thinking to themselves, like, how they're going to get this evidence and, like, where they're going to find it. They thought that they can charge him, and this evidence is just going to become evident and fall on their lap, and all comes. And I think they're really struggling to piece it together. This obviously, then there's something gone on. There's something gone on. He's been involved in something. But
Chico's right. Times are reporting that Lucas Paqueta is set to be cleared of FA spot fixing charges. Governing body could be facing the prospect of picking up the costs of West Ham United's midfielders' legal fees, which could be as much as £1 million, and the fucking rest of the money they need to pay us. But that seems to be that maybe the fact that he is cleared, but they're delaying the announcement. They're trying to find the best way politically to announce it, because how bad are they going to look that they've been dragging this out for 2 years now, and he's innocent? Like, so they're in no rush to actually announce it officially.
I think if it had just been investigated, and it would have been, I'm not going to say rush, but it would have been dealt with promptly, I think it would have been not as bad. But I think dragging it out over 2 years, costing 2 sales, getting the guy stuck in limbo where he don't know what's going on, and he's having to think about where his career could go, or what what's going to happen after, which has obviously affected him, affected his performances, affected his family, affected their situations. I think it's one of the worst things I've ever heard of in sport. I think this is going to be something that the courts are going to have to look at as, you can't do this anymore. You've got to do this in this way. I think it's going to be one of them ones that change the way they deal with things, because you can't do this to people. This is disgusting.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the fact that they're delaying it, so we can have that closure and that euphoria of just having it out
Yeah.
there in the public. His name cleared, and now they still don't want to announce it. It's disgusting.
They're just looking at PR now and how they're going to spin.
Yeah, they
What
can't.
they've been, why they've done what they've been doing, and trying to justify it. That's all it is, I think.
Which they can't. They can't justify it. They can't spin it. They can't. Their PR can't get any better after all these years that he's cleared of all charges. Not even like a little, oh, well, he gets a 2-month ban because of this. Like, he's fully innocent. So surely, Dave, I mean, can you imagine us not suing, not taking him to court and trying to win some money here? What do you think about that?
There's no chance that Sullivan turns his nose up at a pound note, is there? It's going to happen. I think, for what it's worth, I think the FA know they've nosed this up. I think the FA know they've done wrong. I think they're waiting for something to happen where they can just bury it on a day that something happens big politically, something happens big in sport. Maybe on Sunday, if the Lionesses win, in the Euros final, they can just bury it under the good emotion, just quietly release a statement that says Lucas Paqueta's cleared, and then, for the rest of the country, it goes unnoticed. That's my hunch. I think if they do it now, the spotlight goes on them, and everyone goes, what miscarriage justice? What injustice this is? But if they can bury it when no one notices, they're going to avoid the glare of that spotlight. That's my hunch.
Well, good luck with that, because every other West Ham channel, a lot of other football channels will be making content on that, and we will make sure that don't get buried and that don't get hidden. Trust me on that. He's got very good lawyers, Paqueta. I believe they got in the Man City lawyers, and now there's no way them lawyers, if they're worth anything, don't turn around to West Ham and Paqueta and say, "You've got a case here. You've got a case here to sue the FA." Like, if they're worth a shit, they will go and push that case, and because they are that good, they'll probably win. So the FA should be shitting themselves, and I think they are shitting themselves.
I think the FA have got some very outdated processes the way they go through. I think that they've got, they're still dealing with things the way that they're dealing with, the old First Division, where it wasn't as in the spotlight. It wasn't as what's the word? It wasn't as costly. You know what I mean? Like, you might cost a geezer a couple of £100, a couple of £1,000 maybe, but now you're talking about hundreds of millions of pounds. And businesses and clubs and things like, falling apart because of these decisions that they're making and affecting their players. And I don't think they've got enough sort of self-awareness to know that, they can't just do these things without thinking about it first and thinking about the implications. I think they could get done for a lot of money. I don't think it'll be a sort of a cut and dry thing. I don't think it's going to be solved within the next year or two. But I think eventually, the courts will come to the conclusion that, they've cost the business, a good chunk of money, and they're going to have to pay for it because they're incompetent. This is now what football is. Football is not just a game anymore, a working class football. It's a fully fledged international multi-billion-pound business, and every decision that they make or get involved in could cost, a lot, hundreds of millions of pounds in some way or the other. And I just think that they've outgrown the sport and the way that the top divisions have outgrown the processes of an old-fashioned, office in. I've been there. It's in something like Soho or something like that, and it's just a load of old fellas, sort of like running the Sunday league. Like an old-fashioned boys club. And it's not fit to govern a sport now that has outgrown being a sport and is now multi-billion-pound businesses owned by people that are the richest people on the planet, and they potentially losing investments. And I just think they're not fit to run the top. I think there's got to be some sort of shake up there, and processes, like legal processes, followed before they start getting involved in this sort of crap because they're not savvy to what they're doing properly. Yeah, they don't understand. That's the word, Dan. They don't understand the implications now.
That's it. They wanted a high-profile scalp, a big win. Let's throw the book at someone, and like you said, all the money that it's affected, but not just the money, the mental anguish on Paqueta. And you see him, like I think it was the last game of the season, wasn't it, where he started crying, or as the season game before that one.
Yeah, because it could have been his very last game.
Yeah,
and every time he gets booked, the spotlight goes on him. You know what I mean? Like, and he don't know
for a lifetime ban. That's what they wanted from all. They not just Premier League. They was getting it for all of football. That's what they wanted. They wanted to get him banned from all of football for life, to take away his livelihood from him, all off of allegations of bets worth like $1,000 or something, like just pathetically small bets that he would just makes that in a fucking minute. Like, it's so ridiculous. And no wonder we fucked Betway off. I get it, they've got their alert system, but I do think that's part of the reason we fucked them off for this last season. It don't make sense that we would just have Bowl Sports for one more year and not stick with Betway. To me, I think there was a bit of, well, you fucked us here, so bye-bye. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I just think that they was looking for a quick, I think Betway, another year, it just wasn't worth it because, next year, all betting companies have to leave. And I think Belgium
it's not worth it to get someone new, though. You might as well just stick with the deal because then you've got to change all, like for us to go to Bowl Sports, we have to take all the Betway shit down and all the branding we've got. Like, there was a lot of changes. It would have been easier to stay with Betway than change. Like, so for one last season, you think they would have just done it. So I don't know. I think there's something there.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
That's me. That's my conspiracy hat on. Betway Cup, yeah. Oh, don't tell me it's going to be the Boyle Sports Cup. Oh, for fuck's sake! I don't even want to win that this year. You can keep the Boyle Sports Cup. My God, are we doing that this year? Are we doing a Bowl Sports Cup?
Yes.
I think our friendlies.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Is that
a home game with Lille?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I want to win the Bowl Sports Cup, lads.
What would you renew it to, Dan? The Bowl Sports Cup sounds atrocious. So if you was going to rename it now, what would you rename it?
I'd rename it something like the Bobby Moore Cup or something. Something West now.
Yeah, something.
Do you know what? For this year, I would have named it the Aaron Criswell Cup and let him nominate a charity for all proceeds to go to. And then, you've got the insert charity name here, Cup. But, and it's Criswell's testimonial then that he should have had and hasn't.
Yeah, I think he should have. Yeah, he should have had a testimonial. Like, they just seem to have been, and I get it. Testimonials before used to be about giving the players one last payday because they didn't make the crazy money they do now. But as a charity thing, I think it's a good cause. It's a good thing for charity. Do it to the Dylan Tom Bides charity, and have that. It's a great day out for the family. Love the Nobes one. And give them their send off. Let them play with all their old teammates. Everyone will have a good time. But they didn't do it. I think they should have done it for Collins, even though technically he had a break. Should have done it for Creswell. Like Antonio, he could be due a testimonial. They could have merged them. I think it's sad that we don't get these anymore. Fans, I'd much rather go to an Aaron Creswell testimonial than a shitty friendly between like some foreign team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, it's a chance to raise some money. And they could have split. You could have done some DT38, iron supporting food banks. Do a few. People would pay 20 quid to go and see a testimonial when you get to see some old faces come back. How good was it seeing Dean Ashton up front and fucking the overhead kick and all of that? We loved it.
Yep.
The Susan
Adrian solo goal.
Yeah, the Adrian goal. Oh, it was a great time. So I'd have loved it, but there's no joy in this ownership anymore. No fun, just money. But yeah, the Susan Boyle Cup. I think I would go for that. In fact, I'm going to call it that. It's the Susan Boyle Cup.
Can we call it the Susan Boyle Vase? Can we demote it a little bit? The vase. Yeah.
Please, may I voice my opinion? Go ahead, Zamba. Go ahead, Zamba official. Voice your opinion. You have to ask. The Susan Boyle vase. I'd love that. So, listen, we're going to hopefully there's some more official news comes out of this Paqueta thing, but I might do a video in the morning and go into a little bit more detail on the Paqueta stuff. But yeah, this has been a roller coaster month for West Ham. It's mental, from Wilson to this Paqueta stuff to all the shenanigans at West Ham. Never a dull day at this club unless you're watching them play football on a match day. That's for sure. So yeah, lads. Nick, you still with us? Nick, by the way, I need to address this with you. Why the fuck are you always having power cuts? You need to sort your wiring out.
I'm not at home. I'm not at home. I'm somewhere else. I can't really say where I am because I'm not meant to say.
You're on that. Yeah.
It did have power, but now, I think it's been cut off.
Fair enough. So right, he's doing it from there. Like you should have popped to that McDonald's, Nick.
Yeah, that was a really posh McDonald's, wasn't it?
Yeah. Me and Nicky was on a meeting the other day, right? And I went to Nicky, what's this? You're in a really fancy looking building. Like, what's this posh place? Wow. And he goes, I'm in McDonald's, mate. I was like, what? Bring back the fucking tacky old McDonald's with the little chairs that sort of.
Do you know what? Someone showed me a photo of a party we had in the other. There just used to be like plastic stool. Everything looked like like a bright toy in there. You know what I mean? Like everything was plastic. Everything was wipeable. Now it looks like, as I say, I was sitting in this McDonald's. You would have thought I was in some sort of like multi-million-pound office.
Yeah, it's no character to it. They're all boring and trying to be. It's been fun, you have all the paintings of Ronald McDonald and that. I've got inside knowledge that they binned off Ronald McDonald because they thought he looked like a nonce. No, I'm not even making that up. I know, I've got inside knowledge of that. You don't see Ronald McDonald anymore, do you? Over here.
No, it was because they had to stop marketing it to kids because they was seen as.
No, Nick, I'm telling you, I have inside knowledge.
Really?
I have.
Who's your inside knowledge? Who's your McDonald's inside man?
Well, I can't reveal. Oh, listen, I can't. The McDonald's ITKs, we can't reveal our sources. I might tell you off there. But I have.
I think I know. I think I've worked.
Is it David McSullivan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I think I know. Yeah. I think I know.
Yeah, they said. They was like, right, we're gonna bin off Ronald McDonald because he looks too noncy. It's fucking. I swear to God, that's true. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. R.I.P. Ronald McDonald. I think they still use him in America, but like they got rid of the because they got rid of Hamburger, Grimace, the fucking chick girl.
Yeah, but they was getting slated for marketing it to kids, and it was obviously damaging, and it was highlighting issues.
With toys still, though, Nick. Like
they don't even give you toys anymore. Like not the proper toys that we used to have. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. McDonald's is awful now. It's like Argos. You have to. I went into a McDonald's to get a milkshake about 2 days ago, and I waited for 30 minutes.
Do you know what? It's true. It's so funny. Like back in the day, when we used to go Argos, right, and you used to sit there in your chair with your ticket or whatever, and you used to look up at the thing and wait for them to call your number out. Like we never thought, like, do you know what? Argos is ahead of the curve. Like this is the future of everything, and like McDonald's and all fast food would be like that, like just Argos.
But all that they're doing, Dan, is if they've reduced the in-store service because all that they concentrate on now is deliveries because they can upsell it, they charge more for it, and it's they don't want people coming into the store and disturbing their flow. They're concentrating on getting deliveries out because it's where they make their money now. And it's, to be honest with you, it'll never go downhill. It'll never lose enough money to make, but it's not what it used to be. It used to go in now. It used to be cheap. You used to go straight to the counter. You used to get your food there and then. You've seen the film. That's what they concentrated on. Now you're waiting half an hour to get anything. You might as well go into a restaurant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It takes fucking ages. Dave, have you been to the McDonald's in Mexico? Do they have McDonald's there?
No. I started boycotting McDonald's about 3 years ago, and I've been back to one since.
Oh, fair enough. I would just be interested to know what a McDonald's in Mexico is like. Well, you've been there, Nick, haven't you?
Huh?
You must
Mexico?
have been McDonald's in Mexico.
I don't know, not the last couple of times. I went probably about 15 years ago.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so 2008 or something I went, 2009.
Oh,
And
bloody
yeah,
hell.
I went in
Very
America.
different.
I went to in Florida last time, a couple of years ago. I ordered.
I've heard it's different. I've heard the McDonald's there is different.
Yeah, but I ordered 3 McMuffin meals or something. It come to like $45.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like it's mad expensive over there.
Wow. That's I mean, that's it. You've got to take a bloody mortgage out for a McDonald's over there. And like everything's obviously sweeter and more artificial, and the chips have like 20 ingredients in them. That's the one thing, Nick. I couldn't go. I know you like going Florida and you're going again. The food just scares the shit out of me over there, like eating out.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much choice over there, and it's all just shite, to be quite honest with you. Like, I'm getting to the point in my life where I just enjoy a nice, a home cooked fresh meal. You know what I mean? Like, I used to like the McDonald's and that, but yeah, right. As you get older, you just start to appreciate how much shite it is, and as the service gets worse, it's not worth it anymore. So it's too dear. You can buy things now that you can do indoors that you can do just conveniently. There's better quality out there, and your body just don't fucking want it anymore. It's just shite. So yeah, they can fuck off as far as I'm concerned.
What choice you got when you're on holiday, Nick? You're gonna be eating out, like you ain't got much choice.
Yeah, you ain't got much choice in cooking there, but you as long as you choose well and you don't fucking.
Yeah. Even the tomato sauce I've heard tastes well different than that. Like,
well, I went to France and my boy had a McNugget meal and he got a spicy sauce. And
what do they call a McNugget meal in France, Nick? What do they call a McNugget meal in France?
Le McNugget. I don't know. What do they call chicken in France?
He just mentioned it's like Pulp Fiction, so I had to get the reference in.
But he got this little chili sauce, right? Fuck it, I've never tasted anything this hot in all my life. I've never tasted anything like it. It was ridiculous. Like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it might have even been worse than Chicken Shop. That lava, that volcano. Yeah, honestly, it was silly how hot it was.
In a McDonald's, bloody hell. Like, yeah, that's mental. So listen, Dave, I'm sure you're enjoying the local delicacies and that. Or do you go on holiday, Dave? You need one of these ones. Go right. We need a British place. Like, we're gonna get some pie and chips in Mexico. El pie and chips, please, sir.
Joe, we haven't eaten other than like the excursions provide a little bit of food. They're like, we got this special like chicken tortilla with onion. We've just eaten out of the restaurants here, and to be honest, it's like it's all American and Mexican. And the one thing that's amazed me, you talk about like American food, is how much American food they like to add salt and butter to. Like even if you pick up an apple, it's covered in salt and butter. It's like this weird kind of. I don't understand the obsession with it, like. But it's quite nice having fajitas for breakfast. Beef fajitas and for breakfast are quite nice. I can't see it catching on back home in local cafes, but
yeah. Go down to like E30 cafe and be like, "Can I get a fajita, please, governor?"
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, you're right. That baked butter stuff, like the pancakes over there, butter and syrup and shit, like. Over here, butter's like a savoury thing. Like we put it on bread and that. Like, but they put it on like dessert and shit. So that's them.
I've seen pasta. They cook pasta in it. I've seen pasta in butter.
Fucking hell! Like no wonder. Like,
did you say pasta in butter?
Yeah, pasta in butter. That is
butter in pasta. Which way round? They get in a tub of butter and putting some pasta in it.
I think they just heat the butter till it melts, then cook the pasta in it, and then serve it. It's not something that I've ever looked at and thought, No
wonder they've all got bloody, heart conditions and they're on medication galore and tablets coming out their arse. Like, jeez.
And I've been here 2 weeks. Do you remember I had a 6-pack when I left?
Yeah, it's true. That's what happened. See, he was ripped. I remember seeing him at John's birthday. It's funny. Usually we have a few Americans in here, but we ain't got any tonight to answer for their crimes against food. Usually we have a few, but that's yeah. This is them. Would you like some pasta with your butter? Yeah, that's what. It's
Yeah,
like.
that is exactly how it's like.
Dave, Dan, Nikki, and Dave, you watch Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives American Food Program. I've never seen it. I've not seen it, mate.
No,
I've not.
I've watched a few of those. You know, the Beard Meats Food challenges guy. I
Oh
watched a
yeah,
few
I've
of
seen
his
it,
things.
mate. And he has got a six pack. He's fucking ripped, and he does that.
I want his diet plan.
The thing is, I wouldn't want to do that because it's enough to put you off stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you used to hear about, my aunt once told me a story, and loads of people probably hear this, that my nan caught her smoking, so my nan made her smoke a whole box of cigarettes, like as a punishment to put her off smoking. That's kind of like that for food. Like, eat fucking shitloads of steaks in one sitting. Like, well, it's going to put you off steaks, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know about all the food challenges and shit. Nicky done a food challenge that I need to find the footage of somewhere, and he failed massively.
Yeah,
that Nick.
yeah. That what the chicken?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'd like to try that again because my stomach's very different to what it was then. Like I just had an operation when I've done that, and I don't think it was the spiciness that got me. I just thought it was the amount of food. But
I'll have to find that.
I'm not going to try it out of choice.
All right. I'll have to find it. There's a video, like obviously me, Jason Damo don't uploading, but there's if you go on Dan Damo Jason YouTube, you'll see Damo and Jace eat this molten lava. Like, it's basically this weird Korean sauce my dad found in London. It's like a thing, and we marinated load of chicken in it and like cooked it, and I've never seen them in so much pain. Like, one of the Damo's nephew ate it, and he just sat in a fetal position in a cold shower after, like. So yeah, well, good. Should have a. Do you know what? Oh, this gives me Hamilton. You've given me a little idea for something that we will announce. Friday Night Bake. This is a good idea, Hamilton. We may see something. Please find that footage, Dan. I'll find it, Nui. I think it's in the archives here somewhere, but because I just didn't end up uploading or doing anything with it because I thought Nicky would go further and there'd be more of a video out of it. He got like 2 in and was like, I can't do it anymore. So I couldn't really do a video out of it. So yeah, there's been food reviews internationally. There you go. Bring back the old vibes of Friday Night Pints. What's it or Quavers, Big Dave?
Oh, that's a good one. If we're just going for cheese, I'll go Quavers, but a beef what's it or a beef monster munch, I think, would beat anything.
What? I used to go mental at my mum and my brother when they'd open a bag of beef whatsits because they used to stink horrible. I like beef crisps, but they used to stink. But there you go. For those who said they want the old Friday Night Pint stuff back, there you go. We've had our Quavers versus like, that would be it. We'd go ask us anything, right? And people would go, Quavers, whatsits or Cheetos, Twirl or Freddo. Like, we'd get all like so much like snack based questions. Or like it'd go to TV and they'd be like only fools and horses or in betweeners and stuff. Like, and we haven't done that in a while because we focus more on the football. But people go, oh, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, that's the old days.
The old days, yeah. And the thing is,
the football weren't on.
What's that, Nick?
I said when the football weren't on.
Yeah, and the worst thing was because we did that every week. That Ask Us Anything every week. Someone would say, "Quavers or what's this?" Like, and we'd be answering the same questions every week on snacks or TV shows or films. So we was like, we'll just save that sort of Ask Us Anything for certain things, special occasions. So there you go. But yeah, so there will be a watch along tomorrow, 12 o'clock. We kick off. Obviously, we'll go live before then. Please, West Ham, just don't bore me. I'm staying up to watch this. Just don't bore me. Don't disgrace me. Don't embarrass me. I'm not expecting much. So yes, we'll be doing that. Obviously, we'll be keeping up on top of the Paqueta stuff and all the other transfer news, and obviously when Callum Wilson is official, and then we can get behind it. So listen, thanks for joining, lads. Thanks, Dave. Listen,
Thank you.
taking time
Cheers.
out of your lovely holiday.
Thank you. No, it's been good. There's only so much sitting around by the pool you can do, and I'll tell you what, I'm jealous of everyone back home. I hope she's not watching this, but I'm jealous of everyone back home who's at Bournemouth tonight watching the 21s, because I'd have loved to have been there. There's no football on here. I love me football, but other than watching the Lionesses, it's been nothing.
Don't they have Mexican soccer season over there?
I don't know. I think so. The Cancun, because we're in Cancun, they're not playing until the Saturday I'm back, so I can't. I've got 3 weeks of no live football whatsoever.
Well, you know what, Dave? It's good to have you on. I've been seeing your crazy
Twitter
takes. We need to get Dave on to answer for some of these takes. We need to get these takes on camera.
What one do you want? Let's go. Next week. I'll be next week with you. You talk.
The Wan-Bissaka one blew my mind. Like when you was like Carl Walker over Wan-Bissaka. Like,
yes.
I was like, where's he coming from here?
All right. Well, to be fair to Carl Walker, like I say, he's the best right back in Premier League history. And even at his age, I think he's got a lot more positional sense and a lot more IQ and intelligence about him than Wan-Bissaka. And Wan-Bissaka, you know, I'm not saying I don't understand why people don't love him. He's like a golden retriever. You know, if you throw a ball for a golden retriever, it will go forward in any which way it feels like. But as soon as you want it to return to you and go back to where it should be, it trots along at its own pace and does what it feels like. And I feel like that with Wan-Bissaka. I feel like if he had a little bit more, if he had a little bit less inclination to start running across the pitch into like a left winger's position and sort of like get back into his own defensive position and do his defensive work, he'd be great. But I just don't see it. I don't see the player that hammer of the year and all that.
You don't see it. Nick, what do you think about that? What do you reckon? What do you think of that take? That's what Nicky thinks. There's Nicky's faults right there. He's just fucked up. What timing? Yeah, I personally think Carl Walker's finished. Like we see it in for England. We've seen it. Again, it's another big time Charlie that wants to come here, and he's got a lot of problems off the field, and I think it would have just been, just not the direction we should go, and I think Wan-Bissaka last season, I think he stood, maybe because everyone else was so crap, he stood out. I'd like to see him when we're all good, but obviously going forward, you know, he created some chances, got some assists, got some goals. There was a situation where he was high up the pitch and he was caught out of position, but the problem was then you'd have Mavropanos was also high up the pitch, so there's no one covering, and I think that's the problem. I don't mind having a wing back, full back higher up the pitch, but someone's got to be there to cover, and I think that was the problem a lot of the time.
I'll tell you the other thing with Walker though, is you could put him on the right side of a three. If we're going to go with a back three, and you go Walker on the right side of the back three with Todibo and Kilman, that's an upgrade, I think, on what we've already got. True. I mean, it's by the way, he's got the Burnley now, but, you know.
Yeah, that's mad. Yeah, so he's at Burnley. Like, what wages must he have to be on at Burnley? 200 grand a week? Fuck yeah, Burnley, you're paying him 200 grand a week.
That is mental.
Salaries.
Yeah, Man City must pay about 150 of that. Maybe 100. Yeah, I can't see Burnley going over 100 grand a week for a player.
Yeah, but obviously he was Spurs scum. We'll see. Like, listen, if he goes on to have a great season for Burnley, Dave, then you'll be proved right, and you can say, yeah, you know what I mean. I'll be keeping an eye.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this earlier, funny enough. You're talking about, when we see Spurs. But if you look at our left backs this season with Juve and Scholes, you've kind of got the same dynamic you had, where you have Walker as that kind of all pace, all action, up and down right back. You've got Juve, and then behind Walker you had Trippier, who's a little bit slower, a little bit less physical, but an excellent crossover ball. You got that in Scholes, and I did think of that earlier. I was like, do you know what? This could be one to watch next year.
Yeah. True. We'll see. Well, that'd be interesting. Do you think Isak will go Liverpool? Their team will be a joke. I think it's going to happen. I don't know about you, but he wants out.
I didn't until they put the until he said that he wants to explore his options. And then it became obvious that someone sort of said something in his ear and gone, look, we can make it happen now. Because there's no, agents talk to agents and clubs talk to agents, and they can't go and attack the player directly. But someone I think has gone to Isaac and gone, like, the move's there, do you want it?
And
he's
it was very public, like all the reports that Liverpool wanted to bid, Liverpool's after him. It don't even take someone to go to him, we're interested. It's all over the flipping internet. So he knows he ain't gone on the plane with them to their tour. Like they're saying, oh, Findry, it's obvious. Like, and for them, they should have sold him when they first came around and got Ekatike. Now they've lost out on Ekatike, they could lose out Isak. Liverpool will be unstoppable next season with Isak. That'll be insane.
The only thing I will say is that would that, can you have too much of a good thing in football? If you've got a front three of Salah, Diaz, and Isak, with Wirtz playing in that 10, have you got too many good players, too much flair? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you need that player that isn't at that level but can just make things tick over. But you've got four players there that are superstars in their own right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the Galacticos type of model where you have all these. I mean, obviously PSG tried it, but I just don't think it's the same. I think like they're all the players they've signed are taking a step up. They weren't like bringing in superstars. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a next step up for him. Wirtz is like a next step up for him. Obviously, Salah is a Liverpool legend. You've got Ekatike. He was at PSG, but he weren't a big player there, so it's a step up. You got Gakpo's already established, so I don't know. I think maybe they won't be as good as we all think, but I think they'll win the league again. And listen, I would love it just to stop Arsenal. They're all getting excited over Gyökeres, and then Liverpool go and pull out a fucking Isak.
I'd take anyone over. I would rather see Spurs win the league than Arsenal. I think Spurs fans will be more tolerable, more bearable than Arsenal with it.
Yeah, true. Although the way Spurs have been over the Kudus thing, my God. But
here's the thing with Kudus, right? Is they're gonna get excited, right? But look at their big signings over the years. They spent 60 odd million on Lo Celso, didn't work out. Spent 60 million on Ndombele, didn't work out. They've already got Brennan Johnson in that position. Solanke didn't work out. They don't have a good record with big money signings. And Kudus fits that bill. He's another Richarlison. Kudus will be another Richarlison for Spurs.
You heard it, and listen. I hope you're right. I will love it. I will love it if they got us. I will love it. Gahey as well. They might get Gahey Liverpool.
Bigger club.
Defense and attack, upgraded midfield. Forget about it. It's a wrap. Seems like everyone's reporting Paqueta has cleared, so it looks like it's true. So we'll wait for the official thing and we'll talk about it. But nice one, Dave. Listen, mate, when you back from your holiday?
I fly back Sunday week, so I'll be back in time for the Lille game in the Susan Boyle Vase.
Lovely jubbly. Well, listen, mate, it's good to have you outside.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll have to get you on a bit more, mate.
Thank you very much. It's been good to come on. It's been great speaking to
you. Yeah. I tell you what,
this is the
best your lighting's ever looked, by the way, on camera. It's beautiful. So, it's great. Enjoy the rest of your holiday, mate. And listen, everyone, thank you all for watching, and from Nikki as well. And we'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, should do a video on the Paqueta stuff in more detail, and then the watch along at midnight. So tune in. You're gonna get you'll get that over there, wouldn't you? You get to watch the Man United game. You get that?
So you broke up for a second.
So you'll get to watch the Man United game. You can get that over there, right?
I'm hoping so, because it's 6:00. So it'll be a nice early evening entertainment.
Hopefully entertainment. So well, listen, so tune back in tomorrow. If you haven't checked it out, you go check out on Lawless Live my video on TalkSport with Colton Cole and Jamie O'Hara talking about the current circus that is West Ham. So you can go check that. Type in Lawless Live on YouTube. It will come up. Thank you all for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.